Harrison Graham, Chase Sr. here on day one of NBA free agency. It's been pretty quiet around the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll talk about a player they have signed in just a moment. But first, Chase, let's kind of talk about the latest around Ben Simmons, the chatter around him, or perhaps somewhat the lack thereof, as there's not been much movement. Kind of the latest chatter was they want a huge haul to move him to another team.
Yeah, I think the relationship between Ben Simmons and the Sixers organization is tarnished. And if you were to poll people in Philadelphia, do you want to trade Ben Simmons? The answer overwhelmingly would be yes. There's no doubt this guy has a special skill set. His vision at his size is really special. Him in the open floor is something to marvel at with the way that he's able to generate points and looks for his teammates. As for the latest on him, an NBA exec said that the Sixers' asking price remains extraordinarily high. We're talking a James Harden-like package. One NBA executive saying the Sixers want what Boston got for Kevin Garnett as well as Paul Pierce.
Luck.
This is classic negotiating tactics by a smart guy in Daryl Morey to set the asking price really high. Because from there in negotiations, whether it's for Ben Simmons or in business negotiations, you set the bar high and you come down after that. I still think the Sixers can get an all-star player back for Simmons. I think his value is a lot higher than what a lot of people think because of him being a first-team all-defender, him being an excellent passer. He gives you a lot with his vision as well as rebounding the basketball defensively. If he develops a corner three, we're talking about a guy who could be a very dangerous offensive player. He's just allergic and afraid of shooting. Until he develops that shot, Ben Simmons is going to be what Ben Simmons is. Like you saw in the second round of the playoffs, that's a very, very limited player.
So we'll keep you guys up to date on Ben Simmons here on our Sixers channel, chatsports.com/76erstv. Let's talk about a free agent signing they've made, Chase. Furkan Korkmaz, 3 years, $15 million.
Yeah, Furkan Korkmaz is a guy who the Sixers took a chance on in the 2016 NBA draft when they drafted him late in that first round. And at that point, this was a very raw prospect with some upside. And athletically over time, he's gotten a little bit bigger. He's become a more well-rounded player. He's never going to be an all-world defender, but can he be at least competent and above average on that side of the ball to allow you to play him offensively? The answer to that is yes. Korkmaz isn't getting picked apart defensively like he was earlier on in his career, and he's become, over time, a much more consistent outside shooter. To get a guy with this modern-day value of being a floor spacer who's an above-average or at least competent defender and a guy who can consistently knock down outside shots on a team that is bereft of consistent shooters at $5 million per year, I think is a really good value deal for the Philadelphia 76ers. Last year, he had the best year of his career, a little more than 9 points per game. He shot a little less than 38% from the three-point line. In the playoffs, he hit a bunch of key shots, and in the regular season, because of the Sixers' lack of creators, they kind of gave him the basketball at times and said, you know what, Cork? Go ahead and do what you do as a Turkish assassin and bail us out at the end of shot clocks and at the end of games. As for the Sixers' pre-free agency starting lineup, we're not sure what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. Korkmaz isn't going to slide into the starting role. I still think Matisse Thybulle is going to start at the small forward spot. If you trade away Ben Simmons and you don't give away Tyrese Maxey, does he start at point guard? Then do you bring in Furkan Korkmaz off the bench as a guy who can get you some outside buckets? Korkmaz over time, I really like his development. I mean, he came in as a rookie out of Turkey, shooting 29% from distance. That number has gone up each year to 33%, 40%, and last year with more volume to around 37.5%. 3 years, $15 million for Furkan Korkmaz. I like it, especially considering how fat of a bag that Duncan Robinson got. And I'm not saying that Korkmaz is Duncan Robinson. Robinson is the better player. He just got the most money of any undrafted player in the history of the NBA. They do fill similar roles of being floor spacers and shooters. And today in the NBA, considering the roster construction that the Sixers have with that offense centered around Joel Embiid, it's a pretty solid signing for Daryl Morey in Philly.
So we'll continue to monitor everything the Sixers do throughout NBA free agency. And come on, Sixers fans, you got to stand up. You got to be proud. We're racing our Knicks channel to 1,000 subscribers. The Knicks took a lofty lead after the NBA draft. Now it's your turn to respond. So hit that subscribe button. Chase, myself, the entire Chat Sports squad will continue to get you guys caught up on everything around your Philadelphia 76ers. So subscribe, share that link below with a friend. It's chatsports.com/76erstv.